know French I remember from 8th grade. That's it. That's all I got, folks. Anybody else? All right, quick question for everybody. Who's ready for a great hour of fun and laughter? A little louder, I can't hear you. All right, good. You should go to the session next door. Here it's fantastic. But for those of you who do stick around for the next hour, I want to welcome you. I'm your presenter slash facilitator slash comedy whisperer for the day. My name is Geoff Woliner. I am the founder of Winning Wit. We are a comedy roastmaster service. I got my start in comedy 17 years ago. But before that, I was 8 years old and I roasted my grandfather. And I knew it was right for me because I looked at him and I said, your diapers are even nicer than my brother's. And at that point I knew we were on something. So, thank you. Good crowd. And as you can see, hey, good crowd. That's the name of our session today. The reason we're all here is to learn stand-up comedy techniques for business success. So, quick poll of the room. How many of you here are in sales? All right, how many planners do we have? Do we have any planners in the room? Any planners? I was going to say we were going to be honest for the next hour, but I guess you guys are going to keep us honest. No, well, thank you so much for coming out, and I really want to thank every one of you for joining us. We're going to have a lot of fun in the next hour. So, where does this take us? I want to start with a quote. Everybody starts with a quote on these things, right? Seth Godin. How many of you are familiar with Seth Godin? Okay, he's fantastic. He's a marketing guru. He's a sales genius. One of the great thought leaders of our day. And he's got an incredible quote here, and it's so true. And it says, people do not buy goods and services. They buy relations, stories, and magic. Now, chances are, everybody in this room is a pretty good relationship builder. It's pretty tough to sell your destination, your hotel, your software, without being a pretty masterful relationship builder. What we're going to do today is help you take the stories of your properties, the stories of your destinations, and infuse the magic of stand-up comedy in it. So humor in sales, why is it important? Why does anybody care about humor in sales? Well, Entrepreneur Magazine had an interesting thing a couple of years ago when they talked about exactly this. It said, first of all, humor helps customers remember you. I'm going to jump down here because I believe in personability. So the first question is this. When you're selling something, and you're selling a destination, you're selling a hotel, chances are the person you're talking to has talked to a lot of other people in your same field, right? You see a lot of nodding around there. So you're probably not selling something that's that incredibly novel. Like, wow, a destination. There are destinations? Are you kidding me? People know there are destinations. They know hotels exist too. Any Omni traditions here? Any Omni folks? Any Marriott folks? Hilton? Marriott? Okay, put Marriott in the back. So when you're talking to somebody about bringing them to your Marriott property, and you're giving a sell about the capacity and the grounds and all the different things that you offer, there's a pretty good chance that person is also hearing the same type of story from other big-time brands. You're also hearing the story from Intercontinental, from Hilton, from Redmond Finn. I mean, all the big hitters out there are getting the same kind of general pitch. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I was waiting for that to stick there. I was going to just sit back for a second and wait for that to marinate. Thank you. So that's the general idea, is that when you're selling the Marriott and you want to differentiate yourself, humor is going to be a way to really help you do that. Why? Because it builds rapport. When you're talking to people, I was talking to a lot of folks last night at the cocktail hour, and a lot of the conversations that I was overhearing had a great element of humor. People were laughing, they were telling jokes, they were telling stories, and people were, oh my God, that's crazy. One thing I remember, and I don't know if he's here, Michael from Chicago, anywhere, anybody? I promise he's in here. One thing I do remember was that Michael said, I remember when we had an NFL team come to state Chicago. And one of the players broke his wrist scooping ice cream. True story. It actually happened. Needless to say, they didn't let him live that down in the locker room. But that actually happened. And that's what I remember from last night, that somebody broke their wrist scooping ice cream. So same kind of idea. If you have humorous stories about your property, about your destination, people are much more likely to remember you the next day. When they're sifting through business cards, how many of you go home after an event like this, you have a stack of cards, and you just kind of go, just kind of go through that. And have that kind of routine when you get back with a big stack of cards, and you're trying to figure out who was who. And the ones who make you laugh are the ones you're going to remember. It also makes people feel good. Laughter is the best. That's what they say, right? Let me tell you something. After a game of racquetball, Advil is the best medicine. But laughter's pretty good too. So what are the objectives for today's session? First and foremost, we're going to learn 3 different types of formulaic humor. You know, people ask all the time, they say, but I'm not funny, where do I start? How do I even write a joke? Where do I even begin here? So we're going to talk about different ways that stand-up comedians actually use a formula to build jokes from scratch. We're going to craft original jokes together. I'm going to turn each and every one of you into a comedian over the next 45 minutes, so stick around. And please keep them clean so I don't get sued. This is very important too. But I'm not funny. Where do I start? How many of you have said that at one time in your life? But I'm not funny. I'm not a funny person. Come on, what do you, yeah, all right, we got one in.
We're in sales, we don't think we're hysterical.
That's exactly right. You think we're the funniest people in the world.
Our jokes are great.
Jokes are phenomenal. I found that there's 2 types of people in this world. Those who insist that they are the funniest people in the world, and those who insist they're not funny at all. In my experience, they're both usually wrong. So where do we start? If someone says, but I'm not funny, how do I write a joke from scratch? Identify your style. There's all kinds of different styles out there, right? Like different communication styles. Some people are really bubbly, really excited all the time. They say, hey, what's your name? Where are you from? You get some of those, and then some are really deadpan. Just kind of sounds like this. Rather themselves to a grandfather clock. And then others have all kinds of different styles. So the first question you want to ask yourself when you're thinking, how do you incorporate humor into the delivery of your property or your CDB or anything is, what's your style? What's your lane? Where are you comfortable? And stay right there. Don't zoom beyond it. There's a crazy misconception out there that you have to be this over-the-top, gregarious, crazy kind of personality in order to be funny. But it's the furthest thing from the truth. Stay within your style.
I mean, come on, we can't be copying nobody else's style. We have our own style. Kissing that man, there's no kind of style.
Love that movie. That's the key though. Remember Cool Runnings? Who here seen Cool Runnings? That's it. At what point did they start really rocking at the Olympics? Remember that, the turning point in the movie? Their own style, right? Feel the rhythm, feel the right, all that kind of stuff. I tried to make an accent against something that sued me, so. But it's the same idea. Once they get comfortable in their own style, they start really rocking it. So stay within your lane. And just to kind of give you an illustration, that you don't have to be this crazy over-the-top type to be funny. Let's go to the ultimate. Oh, that wasn't close enough. Yeah. That comedian of all time is not a steak.
I remember the day the candle shop burned down. Everybody just stood around and sang happy birthday.
Stephen Wright's the best. I mean, he made a career off of being deadpan. So if you have a more serious personality and a more serious delivery, that's fine. You can still be incredibly funny within that lane. And now let's get back to, and you're probably, what is this all about? Why am I showing this steak? Because the one thing I want you to take away today, if you remember absolutely nothing else, is that writing and delivering a great joke is like cooking and preparing a great steak. So, you start with the raw material, like anything else in the world. You have your absolute base raw material. This is where you have to start. If you're going to cook a steak, it's got to start right here. It's got to start with the raw material. Your raw material is the content you already know. It's what you do on a day-to-day basis. It's your property. It's your city. It's your area. It's your clients. It's the things that you have to offer. You don't have to come up with stuff out of thin air in order to be funny. You don't have to come up with crazy concepts. Just think, what do I know? What do I sell every single day? What do I represent? That's your steak. That's your raw meat. Any vegetarians or vegans in here, by chance? All right. In the interest of inclusiveness, tofu. You're raw tofu. So stick with that. We'll take care of it. Absolutely. I paid attention during the keynote today. I believe in inclusiveness and diversity. We're good. We got this. So it's the same concept. You start with your raw material. So think about this. If you're from New Orleans, your raw material would be 3 things that jump out to you immediately about New Orleans. And these 3 things are usually top of mind. Music. How good is that music in New Orleans? How good is that food? That food is. Anybody have gator bites last night, by the way? What'd you think? Pretty good, right? Yeah, a little. We have a mixed reaction. I won't tell the caterers, I promise. I thought it was good. And then festivals. There's every kind of festival in New Orleans all the time. Those are the three things, you know? And then you go to a place like Tijuana. What are the three things that jump out at you immediately? You know, good, clean, family fun. Safe drinking water. Honest law enforcement. So the first exercise I want you guys to do, you have your worksheets here. Write down the first three things that jump out at you about your hotel, your destination, your business. So if somebody says, give me three things, what are your top three selling points? Or the three things that you're just best known for, that have an immediate association with you. This is going to be the development of our raw material. Let's have a look down here. Anybody done this table? Okay. Your name? Beth. And where are you from, Beth? All right, so what do we have for San Francisco for the top three?
Bay Bridge,
Mhm.
fog, and food.
Bay Bridge, fog, and food. Sometimes all three at the same time. If you want to enter very badly in the Bay Bridge. So the top three things your business or destination is known for. Down here, what do we have?
I'm from Charlotte, so I put NASCAR, Southern food, and baking.
I like it. All right, and then what do we have for Anaheim?
Disneyland, largest convention center on the West Coast, and 20,000 hotel rooms.
20, that's a lot of hotel rooms. That's good stuff. So think about this now. This wasn't that difficult, right? The first three things that jump into your mind. Here's the good news. We're already halfway to a great joke about your destination and about your hotel. We're already halfway there because you already have the stake. Now you have your material. What you're going to do is you're going to draw on this, and now we're going to get to the part that's fun. The seasoning. The seasoning is the humor. The seasoning is what is going to make this steak edible to other people. Because think about when you're talking again to folks about what you represent, what your business is, what your destination is. Most of the time, they're hearing a similar type of story from other people. But this is what is going to differentiate it. It's that little twist, that little something right at the end. So what we're going to do is talk about three different comedic styles that you can use for your specific cut of meat, for your specific destination, your specific hotel. Number one, the bait and switch. Anybody heard of this technique before? Got some nodding, anybody? All right, excellent. So the bait and switch is very simple. The whole idea is that you tell them a story. And you have them going, you have them going, you have them going. And the very last second, switch. Going, switch. The exact last second. Right up until the end. How many of you ladies have been on dating sites where guys show up and they look like an Adonis and they seem really funny and really intelligent, and then you're so excited and you get up there and you meet them and you look at them and oh dear God, and you walk away. Same kind of idea. The bait and switch is done all throughout life in every different circumstance. And humor is really what is the foundation of the bait and switch joke. So I'm going to show you some examples of comedians who use these different styles so you can kind of get an idea.
So when I moved to the United States, I didn't speak English at all. So I studied. And the best way to learn foreign language is to talk to local people. And the first sentence I learned was, "Hola, ¿cómo estás, amigo?"
Classic bait and switch right there. She has you going, has you going, has you going. The very last second, pulls that like out from under you. Jab, 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 hook. Like these boxing matches, you know, they have you going, have you going, have you going, and the hook comes right at the end. That's what delivers the impact. That's what makes it memorable. That's what really makes it stick. You know, it's like we used to do that same thing, my brother and I, except when we boxed, it was just hook, hook, hook. I wish there were jabs, believe me. So we're going to do the second exercise here. I want to get you all in the habit of creating your own jokes now from scratch. So here we have the raw material up until the very last line. First of all, how many of you travel a decent amount for your job? How many of you travel a lot for your job? And of these people who put their hands up, how many of you have had at least one really horrific travel experience? Yeah. And if you haven't, you're lying. The trick here, now I'm going to read this out, and then afterwards I want you to tell me what this sounds like. The trip here was crazy. I was being violently tossed up and down. Drinks were spilling, and people around me were screaming. What does that sound like? Well, there it is. There it is. Was that? Should could be that? Was that? Flight, right? Yeah, sounds like a turbulent flight. Been on some of those, slice of life. Now, traditionally, if someone's going to set you up like that, they're going to tell you about this after you ask them, so how was your trip here? The first thing you're going to think is they're talking about their flight. Here's where the humor comes in. But enough about what I want you to do now at your tables is substitute that in for something. We already had a kind of a Mardi Gras book right there, which is good. So I want you to think of different things you can put in there that would kind of sort of apply to the setup. But it's enough just to get their attention going, and switch them at the last second. I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes to talk amongst yourselves. Come up with something funny. Be silly. You're ridiculous. Crazy. See what you got. You'll be amazed how easy this is.
Nothing about my ex-wife.
Oh, that's serious.
You got anything good? I've heard that's life in some of these places. Absolutely. That's exactly right. I got you. One more minute. By the way, I'm not some of them already. It's definitely not going to crowd. All right, we're going to start with this table right in the front. Robin, you know you want to stuff with the plate and show what you got here. So, the trip here was crazy. I was being violently tossed up and down. Drinks were spilling, people around me were screaming, but enough about
The Sound of Music sing-along at Wolf Trap.
good stuff. But enough about
My Thanksgiving.
you're not the only ones that have Thanksgiving like that, I can promise you. But enough about
Gospel Revival.
I know people here from the South can appreciate that. But enough about
My bedroom.
I'm surprised it took 4 tables to get to that. Shocked it took 4 tables to get to that. He was the first. But enough about your kids. Drinks are spilling. I'd love to be your kid. But enough about
The Office.
the office. Which office?
Where I work.
Where's that?
This is where you are.
Okay, but enough about the regular office for shorts. All right. Yeah, there's TSA. But enough about
The line at the front desk.
the line at the front desk.
Nice, love that.
I know that I'm usually being violently tossed up and down to the line at the front desk. But enough about
The Metro.
the Metro. There we go. We may have a winner right here. All right. People around me were screaming. But enough about
Congress.
Congress. No, your audience. That's good. But enough about
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Good stuff. So tell me, was that difficult, or you find that kind of flowing, or what are your thoughts on that? make that with a story you tell within your own business. Telling a story, telling a story, telling a story. Think about a story you want to tell to somebody tonight. Tonight, somebody you're going to meet at the reception, somebody brand new. You're going to tell them a whole story about your business or something that happened, a group that you hosted, or a crazy event that happened in your city. You know, and you kind of set them up, but enough about it, and then send something totally different. And see how it works. See how it works. Here's the good news for everybody in this room. Is that, and this is sincere, nobody is expecting you to be funny. That's the good news. When no one's expecting you to be funny, you stick a joke, 10,000 times more impactful. And all stats are made up right on the spot, but it's true. It really works. Comedians are difficult, believe me. You're expected to be funny, and you have to be funny all the time. You guys are expected to be talking about room capacity and about the cool things that are happening in your locations. You're not expected to throw a joke like that, so it's going to have that much more impact. So that is the first seasoning. Seasoning number 2, the contrast. This is a different kind of style. This is one you've seen all the time. You see, like, you know, tall people do this, but short people do this. You know, men do this, but women do this. Sometimes you see comedians do this. This is a very, very common thing. The cool thing is you can do this with your business as well. The whole idea with the contrast is to take one premise, you show one side of it, which is kind of like your normal side, other side of it, which is kind of like your, what are you, goofy or crazy, whatever it is. It's the contrast side. So premise, normal side, contrast side. Let's go to one of the all-time greats.
A girl, you're 30 years old, you're not married, you're an old man. A man, he's 90 years old, he's not married, he's a catch. It's a whole different
God bless that one. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. 1968, I think that was. Isn't that incredible? So think about that. Think about the contrast. You know, so you have your premise, you have one side of the equation, and then the other side of the equation. So you're taking one thing and you're showing it with two different lights. By showing it the second light, that's where the laugh comes. So I'll give you an example. You know, driving through the Rockies is a religious experience. Then again, so is eating a bag of Cheetos. So that's something, again, you know, believe me, that actually did get a laugh at one time in my life. Sorry. No problem. But see, look at the premise here. The premise is the religious experience. So driving through the Rockies, then so is eating a bag of Cheetos. Same kind of idea. You have your premise, you have one side, then you have another. So here's the next exercise we're going to do. And here's how much you get really creative. And again, think outside the box and be a little bit ridiculous with this. So in Vegas, buffets are $59.99. But that can get you. So the first one is in, and I want you to insert your city or your property. Or if you're not a hotelier or not with a CPB, just insert your mother's house or whatever comes to your mind. That can get you, and just really think about this. You can do anything with this. Just be ridiculous. Be crazy with this, and you'll be amazed at the humor that's going to flow off your tongue without even realizing it. So, back to your groups, go. Mostly with the outfits and everything, but I'm impressed with the answers too. Alright. So, Vegas the buffets are $59.99, but in
Alexandria, you can get a, what did I say? Alexandria, that'll get you a cocktail at PX.
they get you half a cocktail at PS. But that's exactly it. That's exactly the way you're thinking about this kind of thing. You know, bring them in, contrast, contrast. So, Vegas buffets are $59.99 in. Yes. What do we got in Albuquerque?
Albuquerque, $30 a month for multi-weight.
Yes. $3 a month for Walter White. Round of applause for that one, ladies and gentlemen. I'm always waiting on the men to come out about halfway through these things. It never fails. All right. In
Brazil, they can give you a house with a view of Copacabana. Not in the living room.
No, that's all right. That's good. The deadpan delivery. House of you. What's going on? That's good stuff.
You gotta do this one.
All right, here we go. What do we have?
Okay, Vegas, the buffets are $59.99 in Hampton. That can get you a bag of peanuts and a lifetime supply of crabs.
And the innuendos begin. And I'm sure they can continue at this table from what I've gathered over the last couple of minutes.
You're right here.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Oh, skip him. Right here. Go ahead.
Say, hell has no fury like people from the Mid-Atlantic with a sense of humor. Now,
In Vegas, the buffets are $59.99. In DC, that'll buy you 30 seconds of analysis.
there it is. There it is. All right, what do we have? What do we have down here? It's a duplicate of that one. In Vegas, the buffets are $59.99. In DC, that can get you a Supreme Court confirmation. Depending on who's in the Senate. All right, our friends in the back, we haven't forgotten about you. What do we have here? Who's the brave soul? All right.
So in Vegas, the buffets are $59.99, but in our hotel spa, that can get you one to the
She's not getting it. It's very expensive one that they're covering.
In Las Vegas, the buffets are $59.99. In Baltimore, they can get you 6 crabs and a bib.
All right, what do we have here?
Vegas, the buffets are over $60. In San Francisco, that'll get you night Alcatraz.
Night in Alcatraz. All right. Now, what do we have here?
In DC, that'll get you valet parking at the Omni.
You stole your thunder, my man. I think that all going to be an answer. Great minds. We have a different one here?
In Vegas, the buffets are $59.99. In Delaware, that can get you a day flight.
Excellent. All right. So the contrast you see is just you take your premise, mix it around a little bit, show one side, and it's going to get a laugh every single time. And again, be ridiculous with it. Be fun with it. You know, don't be afraid to go a little bit off the reservation. It's okay. So now we get the third and final seasoning, which is called the run-on. The run-on is one of the simplest ways to do comedy. Because all it is taking a premise, like everything else you do, your raw meat, your premise, your same central idea, and you just hit it over and over and over and over again with all kinds of different things, but you stay on the premise the entire time. It's one of the all-time greats.
Actually, I shouldn't tell jokes about my wife. I mean, she's attached to a machine that keeps her alive. The refrigerator. And I tell you, my wife, she can't cook either. My house, she pray after we eat. I bought a pressure cooker. Now I heat off the ceiling. I don't think meatloaf should blow in the dark. And she can't cook at all. She made chocolate mousse and that got stuck in my throat.
As you can see, I have a penchant for comedians that aren't with us anymore. But, same idea. So what was the premise of that bit right there? his wife and her cooking, her terrible cooking. So he didn't have to reinvent the wheel 10,000 different times. He just took his wife, lousy cooking, and just hit it over and over and over and over and over again in a lot of different ways. And he used the bait switch within that each and every time. You don't have to do that, that's the beauty of it. The run-on is very simple to do, even if you do it on a very basic level. So, for the next exercise, give you guys an idea of what, this is something that almost every one of you in this room can do. You can craft actually this exact joke. You'll be amazed at how well it's going to stick. You have it the right way. So, we host all kinds of groups at insert property, insert city, including corporations, associations, sports teams, chess tournaments, barbecue cook-offs, and the last one, again, is where you want to think a little bit outside the box here. Last one is if you want to get a little bit ridiculous. And then you wrap it back around. Like, I'm just kidding. We don't host. But then you throw one of the serious ones at the end. Got the central idea of this? This is something that's so simple to do because the run-on is, again, you're just talking about the groups that you host. That's your premise. And the run-on is all these different things, all these different kinds of groups. You're just kind of beating the idea over and over and over and over again, and you just give them a little bit of a hook at the end. Just a little something. You got them going, and it hooks. So it's similar to the bait switch, but the only difference is the run-on just has a lot of different things going on. So once again, I'm going to task you with becoming hilarious because you guys are doing a great job so far. So let's see what you got over here. We host all kinds of groups at include your hotel destination, including, actually, you know what, if you're not with a hotel destination, you host groups anyway, have at it. Including corporations, associations, sports teams, chess tournaments, barbecue cook-offs, and?
I already have that.
Oh, I'm just kidding, we don't host. So,
What's yours?
all right, let's see what you got.
When we get full. Yeah, only is complete opposite of what we Your reaction. Hey, that wasn't really that funny, was it? Nudists from the Florida Police Funny those who are DC. Sorry.
I'm kidding, we don't know sports teams. Nazis, wow. So let's see, so far today we have sexual innuendos, we have Nazis, we have meth. I like this crowd. Still working? Okay, we'll come back to you. So we have all kinds of groups at.
I've got, we have all kinds of groups at Mount Vernon, including corporations, associations, sports teams, chess tournaments, barbecue cook-offs, and new mud wrestling championships. I'm just kidding, we don't host chess tournaments.
Maybe mud wrestling championships. I don't know for So we host all kinds of groups at.
The hotel, including corporations, associations, sports teams, chess tournaments, barbecue cook-offs, and leprechaun reunions. I'm just kidding, we have host chess tournaments.
Leprechaun reunions. Sounds like fun, actually. All right, so we host all kinds of groups at.
The West in Charlotte, including corporations, associations, sports teams, chess tournaments, barbecue cook-offs, and naval fluff collecting. Just kidding. We don't host chess tournaments.
It's better and better, I'm telling you.